You could do everything you were supposed to, and it wouldn't unlock. Not really something you want. And it was just a situation where this was like a 6 or 7 year platinum for me. Alright, so in this video I'm going to talk about the top 5 hardest trophies I've ever earned out of my entire trophy collection from PS3, PS4, and Vita. You guys know I'm a huge trophy collector. I'm at 111 platinums as of filming this video. I've really slowed down on my trophy collecting over the years, but I have done some pretty heinously difficult things for trophies, and these are the top 5 hardest ones I've ever done. So I'm going to start off with an honorable mention. This one I feel like I had to include because it was still definitely up there for me, but it didn't quite make the top 5. So the honorable mention is Charted Brutal for the Uncharted collection on PlayStation 4. Uncharted Drake's Fortune in 2007 was notoriously difficult on the hardest setting, which was crushing at the time. You would die in about 2 or 3 bullets, so you had to play the game in a specific way. You didn't even have to use the basic cover system while playing that game because it just never worked for the hardest setting. If you peeked out using the traditional cover system in that game, you would die immediately. So you had to play it in such a very conservative manner, and also bullets were scarce, so it was very tough. The game gets ported to PS4 in that collection, and they actually make a harder difficulty called Brutal. And this is one where you die in about 1 or 2 bullets. So it's basically crushing on drugs, and it was even more hair-pulling than it originally was on the PS3. And I did end up doing that completely legit, and it was difficult to say the least. Alright, but going into number 5 for the hardest trophies I've ever done. Valor Grand Cross on Killzone 2 on the PlayStation 3. This trophy basically required you, in a general sense, to be in the top 1% of players for the week in an online session. You know what I mean? So basically, this is a week-long effort for this trophy. It takes a week to do. And you have to be in the top 1% of players. So for example, if there were 500,000 weekly players, then you'd have to be in the top 5, then you'd have to be placed 5,000 in the leaderboards, basically, because it was ranked that way over the week period. So in terms of your kills, your points, your XP, all that nonsense, you had to be in the top 1%. Because Killzone 2 was a great game, it had a really solid multiplayer too, so I didn't mind playing it. And I did do this legit. And it was just a situation where I spent, it was a whole week, there was nothing I didn't play except Killzone 2. The effort was completely focused on this trophy. And I mostly played Team Deathmatch, but it was just a matter of, you know, I think on average, I think I did at least 8 hours every single day. And it was just an insane commitment to get that trophy. And by the end of the week, I was easily over the top 1%. But it was also based on how many people played online that week too, which might have been a little troubling for you. But I did end up doing that one. Number 4, Harder Dick's Bals on Pain on PlayStation 3. Pain was a downloadable PSN title on PS3. It was basically kind of a playground title. Like, all you did was launch a character that had ragdoll physics into this environment, and you get to just play around. Things would explode, cars could run them over, that's why it was called Pain. It was a fun game. What's interesting is that I only have like 22% in this game, and it's actually one of the most difficult PlayStation 3 PSN games to a 100%. But for some reason, I was focused on getting this trophy. It was about, you would launch the character, and there was a billboard. And the billboard, it was a sports billboard. It had like 4 different various types of sports balls, and you'd have to grab them and then carry them over into a dumpster. And you had to get all 4 in the dumpster without resetting the scene, because there was a button to reset the scene if you blew up too much stuff or whatnot. So you had to do this basically all in one go. Oh my god, this trophy made me ridiculously angry. It seems easy on the surface as you watch gameplay of it, but I'm guaranteeing you it's not. It's just one of those things where a lot of luck was in play for this, just based on the sheer millimeters of movement that the character might have had in midair. And, you know, you had a little bit of play with, like, where you could go. I mean, you could use the D-pad to sort of ooch your character in, like, a little bit of a different direction. Think of it like when you're playing Tiger Woods, and you could put a bit of a curve on the ball as it's in midair, and so when it lands, it might be in a situation where it could move a little bit in a different direction. So you had a little bit of control, kind of like that. that trophy also drove me mad. I spent a few days working on that one. Number 3, Lucky Spin, Plants vs. Zombies PlayStation Vita. Now you might be looking at it and thinking to yourself, wow, 40% of players have earned this trophy. Why is it so hard, Ryan? Here's why it's really hard, or it was really hard at the time. You basically had to play this mode where you would spin a slot machine and, you know, you get 3 things, and I believe that's what you would use to play the level, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a long time. But Lucky Spin required you to get 3 of the same one. Or the original trophy was you had to get 3 diamonds. And when you got 3 diamonds, the trophy would unlock. This trophy was so notoriously difficult that they patched it so that you didn't have to get 3 diamonds, you just had to get 3 of anything. I got this trophy when it was 3 diamonds, so I got it prior to the patch. And I spent, I think, probably around 10 hours getting this trophy. And it was, I guess, you know, who knows, you might want to argue that this wasn't hard because it's all luck-based, but that's entirely what it was. You could get this trophy in 1 minute, you could get this trophy in 10 hours, you can get it in 25 hours. But I remember just hitting it over and over again, and I was getting so frustrated because I was not getting 3 diamonds. And it was the last trophy I needed, I believe, for the platinum. Then I finally got my 3 diamonds, and then they patched it so that a possibly 25-hour trophy turned into a guaranteed 60-second trophy. Number 2, Ranked Streak Motorstorm Pacific Rift. I've talked about this one a number of times. I'll try and not spend too much time talking about this one. But a lot of you guys know this one I always mention. Motorstorm Pacific Rift, you have to win 3 online races in a row. Okay, seems not too bad, right? A lot of, you know, if you're a trophy hunter, if you like achievements a lot, you know multiplayer stuff is usually the most difficult because it's very opportunistic, and that's what really sucks about it. What sucks about this one is that in Motorstorm, I mean, it's the kind of game where just, you know, driving over a twig the wrong way might flip your car over. You could barely hit another player and your car would explode or something. It was a little touchy, but if you were really good at the game, you knew the right paths to take. You knew what vehicle to choose for each track. And of course, in a lobby full of 12 players, winning a race 3 times in a row in first place sucks. I would often win, you know, 2 races, and like I would win a race and I'd think, okay, whatever. I'd win the second race, then the anxiety sets in. Oh my god, this is my chance for the trophy. And that's exactly what you'd happen. You'd get super anxious. You'd think, oh my god, I'm about to do it. You know, you get that serious beating in your heart when you're like just about to do something in a game, and your nervousness starts to set in. And a number of times I had this trophy set up with 2 wins, and I just threw it out the door. I'd place in 5th or 7th. I wouldn't even get close. Then one day it just happened, 3 in a row. There's no other better way to explain it, and I was ecstatic. Number 1 is kind of a multifaceted trophy, I'm not gonna lie, but mainly it's Ulf, Wittisch, and Petrovic on Grand Theft Auto 4. And Fly the Co-op, so it's kind of 2 trophies, but mainly AWP. Grand Theft Auto 4 is notorious for being one of the hardest games to get a platinum trophy in. If you were to look up the trophy guide for this game, there's a number of warnings basically saying, strap yourself in, you better be committed, and I really hope you're boosting. It's basically what it says. And so Ulf, Wittisch, and Petrovic requires you to win first place in every single mode in Grand Theft Auto Online. So all the races, deathmatch, team deathmatch, and completing modes like Hangman's Noose, Bomb to Base 2, and Deal Breaker. And that's why it also goes into Fly the Co-op, because Fly the Co-op is another trophy where you have to do those 3 modes. Bomb to Base 2, Hangman's Noose, and Deal Breaker, but you have to do those 3 modes in a speed run, basically, under a certain set amount of time. So not only do I remember doing those trophies, or that trophy, with a particular partner, I didn't have a headset at the time either, so it's all extremely co-op based, and we actually did this through PSN messaging. But AWP is also notorious for being glitchy. So you could do it, you could do everything you were supposed to, and it wouldn't unlock. Not really something you want. And it was just a situation where this was like a 6 or 7 year platinum for me. But that was mostly because of the wanted trophy, which required reaching the last online rank and requires a ridiculous amount of money. But I did do Aef Witters and Petrovic pretty much legit, which is what they recommend you do this. You boost that trophy. They recommend you get a friend, make sure you sync up with the lobby, and just take turns winning races, winning, you know, deathmatch and things like that. But I did the trophy 100%. Well, maybe not 100%. I do know for a fact I boosted 1 or 2 things. I don't remember though because it was so long ago. But it was just a situation where if we're talking about the amount of time I put into a game, the amount of energy, the amount of skill required to finish a game, it was Grand Theft Auto 4, and it's one of my proudest platinums. Nowadays, I don't really have the tenacity to do those kinds of things. I don't have nearly as much patience as I used to, so my trophy hunting has like seriously declined in recent years, but those are the things I did, and I can honestly say I don't regret it, considering the fact that I was screaming expletives a lot at that time. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please, I would love to hear some of your stories. I know a number of games and trophy lists out there are notoriously difficult, and if you did end up doing them, I would love to hear about it. There are some notorious ones like Wipeout, Warhawk, a lot of games online, obviously, but please let me know. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video. Take it easy.